Hello. So this is gonna be the second part of the interview I had with Tanny. It's a little bit more shorter because again I had to cut almost everything down for the first part and the second part. But what I also wanted to say was we managed to hit 101 subscribers, literally at the time of me recording this intro. Yeah, I'm happy that I was able to reach this goal. I'm not gonna. I mean, of course, I'm definitely gonna have to aim for higher, like 150, and then 200 this year. Again, I don't want to set my sights too high on stuff that could take me a long ass time to reach, but I definitely want to go for the smaller ones first before anything else. And of course, definitely for 2025, with this whole interview thing that I'm doing, I also want to go for other VTubers. Big ones, small ones, in between. But yeah, it might take me a while because sometimes most of the people I try to talk to might not respond, or they might not how do you say, might not do it, or don't have the time, which I don't blame them. But yeah, 2025 definitely is going to be a lot more creative than I ever thought I'd ever do over this hobby of mine I've wanted to do. And yeah, hopefully I can get the people I want in, some people that you might like, some people that you haven't heard, or some people that you are a fan of that I was able to get a chance to talk with. But yeah, this is part 2.
Yeah.
Actually, so after the whole introduction thing, another one is, how did you find VTubers? Like, how did you find the community to join it?
I think technically most people found out about VTubing through, I think, is how you say the name, Kizuna.
Oh, yeah, Keys and I.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think technically speaking, well then, you know what, then again, technically speaking, people like to be small asses and be like, oh no, it was Tony the Tiger or something from that serial. That's American, I'm not sure.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think for actual VTubing though, I think me personally, I think a majority of people got that from her. And that's where I think that's how I recognized the branch of VTubing becoming a thing, because it started with that, and then it just all of a sudden just like blew up, and people wanted to do like almost the same sort of thing. So technically, but at the same time, I will say the actual ones that influenced me, and just like the way that they are and their demeanors and stuff like that, was definitely Zen and Nyanas. Like I said, they're very much goofiness, playfulness, and their just realness, you know. I very much liked that, and that's where I went with my side of things. But yeah, I think that was just the people who I kind of started off with. It is kind of funny though with Zen though, is that I actually came around the dragon time.
I've seen the clips. I don't trust you in a car.
I'm literally the best driver ever. The fuck are you talking about?
We got a #1 victory royale. Yeah, Fortnite, we about to get
Mavericks are cool subbed at tier 1. Let's go. Greetings.
I'm Zen and I spent $250 and I got these characters.
Researching anime
I did
booper.
not win. I in fact actually lost everything. Thank you, Genshin Impact.
KZen.
Dude,
Look down
I
for a
just fucked
second.
that sentence up.
Thanks in advance.
If I kick you in your shin, will you squeak like a bitch?
I don't know if you've seen the article on Twitter about the stigma of VTubers. Have you seen that?
What?
The stigma of VTubers?
Do you have a link?
Yeah, well, all it said was stigma nuts on your chin.
Head pat. Head pat. Don't look at me like that!
Sorry if
You
my
know?
message sounded like an insult, but I love you, Zenitria, and may I please have a hug? Smiley face.
Yes, head fat. I'm getting my priorities in check. You got something to say? Say it.
Dicks!
High five. Come on right here. Listen, I try to be nice, but you guys shit on my love. You make terrible dad jokes. You call me bald. Despite all the shit talking you guys do, still love you.
Ha ha ha, bald Pepega toxic gecko who starred in Shrek.
You know what? Fuck you, never mind.
But it's really funny to me because, I think in my head I was so flabbergasted because... Which, this is the funny thing, right? You would think... Because, okay, for example, you see how many pink cat girls, right?
Yes.
Like, for an example, just as an example. You actually don't see that many red dragon VTubers. That's only now. I've noticed a bit more people coming in now. But before, it was almost like non-existent. Like, I couldn't find a single other, like, red fire themed dragon VTuber for like a really hot while. So the fact that like Zen popped up and I was like, oh my god, that's literally what I love. I was like, I love red dragons, I love fire. I was like, oh my god, peak. I was like, peak, based, and that's literally how it started with Zen, because I was just like, oh my god, yes, the thing that I like, because I think I did laugh at that thing, and I think, actually, funny enough, I think for my vtuber application, I made a joke on it. I have always joked to myself that, you know, like, for vtuber, you know, I've always had the thought, like, I don't think that they would like another red dragon VTuber, obviously. Like, I think that they do like to try to branch to different types, like, themes, I guess. So it was always funny to me to see, you know, Zen, you know, come in and be like the red fire dragon, and me being like, yeah, I don't have a chance, because that. And then it was funny because then Zen changed, and I was like, oh my god, like, jokingly to myself, oh my god, do I have a chance now, kind of thing. And then it was really funny again, which I had to make that video very short. So I only mainly focused on Zen's parts, but it was actually also funny because at the time, you know, like, when Bebe was around still, she went to Dragon, and I was like banging my desk because I was like, bruh, why is it that like every time I'm like jokingly like, yeah, they need a dragon, yeah, they need a red dragon, yeah, it's like something would happen and like someone took the role again, and I would be like, man, snap my fingers, it's like, god damn it, kind of thing. And it's just, or even I think in the audition video, it was, yeah, the same joke, just like then finding out that Zen wanted to be both Cyber and Dragon again, and I was like, god damn it. And I don't know, I thought that was a bit more funny for my audition. I won't lie, that there's a part of me that I think worried that I technically wasn't doing what they wanted, which was a bit more like an actual like Q&A talking about yourself. But I think sometimes I can be quite like the person that's, it's a little hard to talk about myself in detail and you know, like present my case kind of in a court type thing. Like, I think it's a little hard, so when I did my audition, I thought it felt a little bit more comfortable to actually make it into a skit, and that one I drew myself, voiced myself, and then I had my friend Ember help and edit it slightly, and that's what was created. And I was actually pretty proud, and actually, to be honest, I don't think I would have done it without Ember's help, because I think it was another problem again where I had the ideas, I had an idea of how I wanted it, but the way that it was seeming, especially like when you just record voice lines and you just draw out like sketches of the storyboard of how it's gonna look, I think at the time I was like, this is just cringe. I was like, this is just cringe. This is terrible. Everyone's gonna hate it. But he, after recording it, hearing my cringe voice lines and then finally actually drawing the scenes and then being like, oh, this is gonna be ass. This is gonna suck. He like worked. He's so good. He just worked his magic and somehow even, because he didn't do a lot of editing. I think that's what I wanted to not be the case, because I didn't want it to be too overly edited, because I wanted it to still feel a little authentic, because you know I was the one voicing and drawing it. And that's the point that I wanted in the video, was to be a bit more authentic and be like, okay, well, I drew this myself and I voiced this myself, so here's the talent. Let it speak for itself instead of having to sit down and be like, so I like the color red. Not like that, but you know what I mean. Just
right.
Very, it just felt a little bit more fun, and it was definitely a more fun project that I still had fun with, even if I didn't get in.
Yeah,
he definitely brought it together, and a lot of people actually really liked it. And I was like, holy shit! I was like, cool.
No, yeah, because I remember seeing it on Twitter during the whole thing, and yeah, I liked what you made.
Wait, what's this? Andrea Dragon debut? Oh my god, wait, I'm a dragon too. Wait, what's this? I have to see this. Oh my god, she's so cute. Oh my god, I love her so much. Whoa, and she's a part of a talent agency. vtuber? Surely they wouldn't want another dragon. Wait. You're telling me Zen is not a dragon VTuber anymore? Wait, hold up. But great googly moogly, that cyber look is pretty dang good too though. So maybe there's a dragon slot? This might be it. My chance! Now I just gotta figure out how. I'll figure out the finer details later. But watch out, vShoujo, another dragon appears! Huh? Son of a bitch! Hello there, I'm 10, and this was my audition video for vShoujo. I hope you enjoyed. I chose to make it into more of a skit, as I thought it was a talent audition after all, and wanted to give voice acting and storyboarding a first try. But thank you so much for the opportunity, and good luck to all the others. Yeah, I was so nervous though, because I haven't, there's things that I haven't really gotten into, and I think that's where I'm a bit of a disadvantage, because I think there's people who get into things like, you know, voice acting as, you know, their thing with VTubing, or singing. And those kinds of things I do take interest in. It's just, I think that it's just a problem of like, I haven't had enough practice, or I might not have the tools to do that sort of thing. So like, even for that, like with the audition, like, you know, like, yeah, sure, I drew it. I tried to keep it simple as well, because I didn't want to like fully color it in and you know, like go down the toilet kind of thing. So I did it enough where it was like it could still show how well I tried to make it look, but still simple. But then yeah, I really tried to give the voice acting a shot, and that was also another funny thing when I was voicing the lines, was like I would voice things and it didn't sound authentic, and I went delete. Because I think sometimes when you get into that sort of thing, sometimes I think you can just very much say a line, but it doesn't actually feel like you mean the line. So I for that one definitely like kept trying and trying to get it right, to actually feel like you could tell that I was actually either excited about etc. or laughing at etc. and stuff like that. I think even funny enough, I think the first segment is of me giggling. And I'm not even gonna cap you, I looked up a video on Twitter. I think I was scrolling on Twitter actually. So so ironically like the video, and I was actually scrolling on Twitter and I saw a funny video and I just laughed at it and I recorded it. Like I think what I did was I watched it. It made me giggly, and that because it made me giggly, then I could voice the line. If that makes sense.
Oh, I see.
So yeah,
I see.
yeah. So instead of like like maybe like you're not in a giggly mood, and you just woke up, you're tired or something, and you go to voice, it doesn't sound as good as like if you actually kind of wake yourself up, have a coffee, watch something that's really funny and goofy, and pick yourself up, and then actually record it. It kind of does actually come up a bit more authentic, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, I think I haven't had much tools to, because I do live with my family, so a couple things even with song stuff and acting, voice acting, is that it's a family home, so it can be loud. It can be, even my family can sometimes just walk in. My sister, especially, my younger sister. So it could be a bit of a problem with that, where I feel like I never have a chance to actually like record stuff, or even for songs. Cause yeah, I also know that some people have had, even for song stuff, like they've had where they have their own house so they can sing to their heart's content type of thing, but I don't. So it's like, it gets a little nerve-wracking to want to actually record stuff, and like, I can't essentially belt songs either, because then you might have like a thing of like a noise problem where like my parents might be like, oh my god. But yeah.
For me, I have to, whenever I'm making a video, I have to record literally like late at night, on Fridays or Saturdays, because that's literally my only free time I get to do it, and I do it late at night because during the day, my nephew will start making noises, my sisters will be out and about and stuff like that, and plus, I don't know if you've heard her at the moment or during this whole talking, my bird, she loves to make noises when she's eating, or if I'm talking, or if she hears someone talking or laughing, she'll mimic, and then you just hear in the background like a small bird just chirping or just squawking.
It's actually funny because my sister has 2 cockatiels, and they make noise too in the background for people to hear. And then even on top of that, being in Australia, we just have wild birds like lorikeets and parrots and like things that just fly by, even just crows or magpies, and they'll just like squawk or something. And I always make the joke like that I live in like a safari. So I'm just like, there's always like noises like that.
But that sort of leads to another question. Because I don't really have any Australian friends or know any Australian people, but is it true that anything in Australia is out there to kill you? Like with the animals and stuff?
I definitely think that there's a lot that can kill you. Like a very high amount of things that can kill you. Especially poisonous. There's a lot of poisonous things. But I think I think the funny thing is that people have to factor in for Australia anyway is that, like myself, even trying to think of the last time I've seen a snake, it's been like probably years now. Like I haven't actually seen one. But I think the thing that I was going to point out is that I think people need to counter in that, if you live in a more populated area, the less likely you're gonna come across like creatures or animals and stuff like that. So like, if you lived in like the city, it's like, oh well, yeah, you're not really gonna come across like a kangaroo hopping around too often. Well, not like a joey, like a small one like hopping around, or koalas in the trees, because what trees, kind of thing. So it's like that kind of thing. So like for me personally, I'm more like suburbs. So it's like not city, but it's like this, like house off the house kind of thing.
Right.
So here it's a bit like, yeah, like I mean, sometimes you might see certain things, but again, it's like I live near a busy road, so it's like you don't really see things too often when it comes to wild animals. And I mean, though, if you lived out where like, because when I was younger, much younger, we did used to live on a piece of land, and that I could tell you 100% is the majority of the things that I came across was on land. And again, that's less populated, so it's like, you know, like I remember things like we would wake up really early and we'd see like kangaroos on the yard, like small ones just nibbling out the grass and stuff. And this was like a funny, cute one. Like even I think we would walk through the grass and you would just see like a billion like little like frogs, like little toad, like little baby ones just like hopping away when you would take a step. It was like, that's a little cute memory. But like a bit more scarier ones was like I think again I was maybe a little too young to remember that one. But apparently we had like a snake on the door and we couldn't go to school.
Oh.
Had a snake on the door. Couldn't go to school. I think another scary one was at that house we had like this giant huntsman spider that we could for the love of it, like we couldn't kill, because for some reason that thing was so intelligent. Like it was fast, it was intelligent, it would look at you.
Oh my god.
Because it was so big, you could see its beady eyes, is what I mean. So like, you know, like for my mom who's a bit more tough and she might like kill a couple spiders here and there for us and stuff like that, like she just honestly couldn't kill that one because it was just so fast. She couldn't keep up with it. And yeah, so we jokingly would, or to this day jokingly say that we had a pet spider. Which he was like harmless because he's not poisonous, like a poisonous spider. It was just like, I mean, at the end of the day, though, it's still gross, though.
Wait, huntsman spiders are not poisonous?
From my knowledge, I don't think they are.
Because I always thought they were dangerous. Or is it just more so that they would go after like smaller bugs or animals?
I'm actually not too sure. I'm actually quickly looking this up because I'm like, oh, actually, okay, wait, yeah, okay, no, I'm sorry, I lied. They said, yes, huntsman spiders are venomous, but their venom is not usually a serious threat to humans.
Oh, okay.
So it's more like, yeah, I was gonna say, you, like it says here, like you might have temporary pain, swelling, maybe minor skin irritation. But it's just, yeah, I think that's why in my head I didn't think they were venomous, because it's like, one, I don't think I've actually been bitten by one without my knowledge anyway, so it's like, you know, because otherwise you're trying to just kill them, or like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't think I've actually come across like, you know, having a spider on me and biting me like some Spider-Man stuff, you know what I mean? So I think that's why in my head I was like, oh, I don't think they're venomous, but I think that makes a bit more sense. Because I was gonna say, if they were venomous, I think I would hear a bit more hoopla about them.
Right.
I guess that makes a bit more sense that it's like, it's not that toxic, I guess. It's just, I mean, it's not good to get bit by one, but you're not gonna die. Because I mean, there's like, you know, more things like a redback spider, that's obviously definitely known to be poisonous, so you definitely want to go to the hospital like immediately for that sort of thing. But again, even with that type of spider, I've only technically only come across one in my whole life, and that was technically when I was a baby, so I wasn't even aware, because my mom told me it was like when she was like feeding me, and she just saw this tiny thing. I was like, what is that? And then she realized it was like, oh, and then like moved.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but she, to be fair, she said that house when we were younger was like pretty creepy, gross house. They even said things like, I think it might be haunted. So it was like maybe like a typical like creep house type thing, like so like weird stuff like animal stuff like that would happen. But yeah, that's about it though. Like other than that, like I don't think we've really come across them. So
because I live in Florida, and a lot of people love to joke around that Florida men will either have a pet alligator, or you just see alligators walking around on the street. But just
they say like the kangaroos like riding their pals, or they ride emus or something, just like to school or work. Yeah.
But like where you live, I also live in a suburb area, so I rarely see any of that. Only times I would is if when I used to work with my mom, I would see some alligators, like just medium or small sizes by the lake. But the only times I've ever had encountered like I guess snakes or anything like that would be in my backyard. But for me, I'm not too knowledgeable with poisonous snakes or some specifically because it was always just like black snakes that would either pass by and that's about it. And they would never really be aggressive or show like they would attack. They would just run away immediately. But
I think that's the thing is like I think most cases, like even with the snake on our door, it was just like a kind of like passing through kind of thing, but it was like obviously like a little obnoxious because you're like, can we like gotta go to school, like get the hell out of the way, man. But like eventually he just like went away kind of thing.
I had a similar story with you, but it was with a spider. I cannot for the life of me know what it was specifically, but I can tell you it was very, very big, almost I guess the size of your hand, I would say. But we were getting ready to go to school one day, and I think we were about to leave when I spotted something giant literally on the corner of the front door, and I think it was, I don't know if it's the right name for it, the banana spider or something like that. Literally a giant one on the corner of the doorway, and I froze, and I think I called my stepdad, and he immediately went after to kill it. I think he got it. I wasn't too sure.
Okay, yeah.
But that was the biggest spider I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I think I haven't personally come across one, but my mom has mentioned one. I don't know if you're familiar with wolf spiders.
Yes.
So my mom's come across apparently one before, but she said, see, with that one, I don't know if that was the same creepy house that she was at or like one house, but she said just one of the houses when we were younger, apparently there was like a wolf spider that lived like outside the house. But I think she said with that one, she was like, we just left it and he left us alone, so like, you know, and it was just like, yeah, I mean, fair, I guess. But she said that was like probably like the grossest or biggest slide that she's seen, like just
I mean, we have like daddy long leg spiders that literally do nothing.
Yeah, we have same,
I saw on your status on Discord about a roach. I don't know if you I don't know if you have it over there in Australia, but over here every now and then we'll have flying roaches, and like small ones to big ones.
Yeah, we definitely have like the typical like brown roach that like, I think I've been fortunate that like most of my life when I've come across roaches, they haven't flown, but like there might have been like maybe 1 or 2 or 3 times where they have, and it's like because yeah, freaking so gross.
I mean, like as a kid, especially in Florida, it's kind of weird to say, but you'll start to get used to it over time once you live over here, that it's just the normal thing that you would see. I think unless it's something crazy, like for instance, my bird, she is a green monk parakeet, and they aren't indigenous to Florida. They were more so brought over here, and the usual birds I would see outside would be like blue jay or pigeon or stuff like that. But with her, she pretty much, from what my mom told me, they found her on the floor next to a tree. I think she fell off the nest, but when they tried to, I guess, place her back, they couldn't find the nest. So they brought her in, and in the beginning, it was just that they were gonna keep it. But then I have this I have this soft spot with animals, no matter what. I just took her into my room, and then she randomly got attached to me. That she lives with me, but she will literally bite anyone she doesn't like. Well, pretty much anyone that's not me.
Yeah.
And she will throw a tantrum if I'm not in the room with her, or if she's not like on my shoulder.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that just makes me think of like how I think I hear people like, you know, being like, oh, I want kids and stuff, but it's like, it's funny because it's like maybe they haven't had pets before, and it's like, I think you should get a dog first or something, because like I don't think people realize how much like animals can be like babies on their own.
Yep.
Like it's like a little like test run of it, like, can you handle kids? Because even that, like, just having like the little you're just about having like a tantrum kind of thing.
And yeah, because like I think the first time I've heard her do that before, I went to the kitchen to get something, because I have 2 dogs, so I close my door so they won't go out. I think I went to go get something, and then out of nowhere I would just hear her screaming her head off, or she would randomly just start talking, like you just hear her mumbling. Like,
yeah.
I even had the moment where my sisters didn't believe me that she talks by herself, that I recorded her like outside the door. I would record her, and you just hear like the faint little whisper of her just chirping crazy, blah 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 blah. And then the second I open the door, she's quiet. She just looks like me. She looks at me like nothing happened, like she wasn't doing anything at all.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think I've heard stories of like people with birds, and like I think this is one in particular I laughed at so hard, because like I think people actually called in police because the bird was kind of making like screeching sounds, and because like some birds can really just sound like a person screaming. So I think the neighbors like called in, and this poor dude was just working on his car out the front, and they just rocked up just like, oh hey, like.
Oh, I think I know. I've seen that video that you're talking about.
Yeah, and then he walks. He literally goes like, 1 second. Walks in the garage. Walks out, and it's the bird, and they're like, oh my god. Like,
Rambo. I'll bring out the screamer to you. Stay in there. Rambo. These are boys in green.
like so funny. Oh my gosh.
Because like as a kid, I was always interested in birds, mostly the bigger ones like bald eagles or hawks. But I never thought in a million years I would ever get a pet bird, especially the one I have right now. Because my grandma used to have, I don't know the name of it. I think cockatiels, the little small ones. She would.
Cockatiels are the ones with like the little orange cheeks.
No,
and the yellow like little flick on their head.
Crap, I'm gonna have to look it up, but I want to.
You're okay.
I want to. Crap, it's gonna take me a while. Small pet birds. Because I know the name of them. Shit, hang on. I think it's parakeets or no.
Oh.
Crap, it's not giving me a good.
It could be parakeet.
No. Crap. Budgies? I want to.
Budgie?
Yeah.
Budgie?
Or parakeets?
Oh yeah, they're smaller than cockatiels.
Yes.
Yeah.
My grandma would have.
They've got like the smaller little beaks, and they go like kind of like the. I'd say like a bit like the bigger like forehead look,
Yes.
like, and they've got like all flat kind of feathers.
My grandma had a ton of those. I remember she even gave me one as a kid, and it became friendly towards me. But every now and then, like if I had it on my shoulder, and I would look at it, it would literally start biting me in the ear.
Oh no.
But those
I think they can be a bit more chirpy. Those ones, like especially the smaller birds.
I think that one was
Even like finches are very like chirpy and.
I'm amazed if anybody has a pet finch, because whenever I see them at like pet stores, those things like move very, very fast, or like jump around fast.
Yeah, I always get surprised by that too. But then I also see videos where like, I guess it depends, because it's like if you do have like what you said, like a good connection with the bird, like they do tend to actually stick around you or things like that. But yeah, no, they're cute though.
And I never really came up with a name for her, but my sister, because of playing video games with me, she saw me playing Sonic Riders on the GameCube, and what are the what are the characters? Jet the Hawk. Because she's green, she immediately just told me to call her Jet after that.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's pretty good.
And I mean, they match with the name, because in the game he's annoying, and in real life she's annoying at times.
Yeah.
Going back to you talking about that one house that was haunted, do you believe any of that supernatural stuff? Like, do you think there's actual ghosts or just crazy coincidence that happens?
I won't lie that I am the type of person that's what's it? It's kind of like it's actually with a lot of things, like even like ghosts, aliens, things like that. Like I think like if someone like came up to me and then they were like, oh, that ghosts are real, aliens are real and stuff, it's not like to the fact that like I'm so like strict and so assertive that yes, that's the case and you're wrong, point the finger like you suck. No, I'm not like to that level. It's more like just a casual hee fun topic if people are interested in sometimes talking about it. Because I won't lie that I have had family like my mom, she's been a bit more to that level because she's I think had more experiences. And she's always told me stories and things like that of her whatever happening and stuff, and you know even creepy things of like yeah, with that haunted house, she said she would see like she would even see things like shadows on the ground going to rooms or something, and she said that she saw one go into my room as a baby in the crib, and she was like, what the fuck, and then that was that. Or like I mean, she's even had simple times where she's thought that like it was like one of us. She said sometimes one time there was like one that was a bit shorter than me, but like a little hunched over, and she thought it was us at night, like sneaking around, and then again it was like no one, we were sleeping soundly.
Oh my god.
So she's got like a couple good stories, and yeah, she said especially with that haunted house, though, like before that one was definitely creepo factor. She said there was way too many weird things, like the red bags. She had like weird things with like animals even being weird. Like she said she woke up one morning with a toad on her head.
What the hell?
Yeah, right? That's what I'm saying. And then she said like even like because back then like you know like flared jeans were a bit more of a thing. She said even when she was vacuuming, she was like, what's on my foot? And she looked under her foot with like a flared jeans, pull them up. And there's like a little mouse on her foot.
Oh.
Yeah, like she was like, it's like it comes like even just like as I think anyone who doesn't believe or things like that, it's just such weird coincidences, right? It's just such a weird thing because like she's never come across like something like that ever again, like you know all the years of living, like you know like it's just that I think that's why she was like, yeah, no, there was something weird in that house. Like, there's something weird because it's like so many weird coincidences with animals, and I know animals can be connected with it, and just too many weird experiences, I think, and it's just too weird. But me personally, funny enough, I haven't actually come across anything ever. I've just never really seen it, I guess, but I always make jokes like thinking, because I'm a very chill and calm person, I think I've always just made jokes that I think I'm just too oblivious.
Right.
Like, maybe, like, I've said to myself, like, oh, maybe I have seen, like, maybe shadows and stuff, but I haven't actually, like, maybe clicked on that it was, like, a shadow or a ghost, or, like, or I've been like, oh, it's just my sibling, and then I move on, or like, you know, like, or so I think in life people have that where like you might double take, so like, oh, did I see something? But then you go, nah, you know, like so like who knows, right? But I just personally haven't come across something that I like definitely can't dismiss anyway. Like my mum has, because that's creepy. Like, what the hell? I would be like, what the? Okay, whoa, ghosts, you know. Yeah, I like to think that I do like to be someone who does think that that can be the case in certain things, I guess. Even though I personally haven't seen it, it's just I don't know. I think also even with people who do the silly like Ouija board type stuff, I'm someone who doesn't like to even mess with the idea of messing with stuff. So it's like, cause to me, right, like with that sort of thing, it doesn't make sense for me to go to some rando place out the middle of nowhere, play with that, and then bring it back home.
Nope.
Cause that sort of thing to me is like, don't fuck with it, it won't fuck with you, you know, that's my life, you know, like, I'm like, I won't fuck with you, you won't fuck with me, you know, like, I'm just gonna, like, stay back with that one, cause it's just, like, it just, I don't know, I just believe that that kind of thing just, like, follows you. It's not as simple as people make it, where it's just, like, you just, like, do it there and it doesn't, like, you just stop it there and that's it. It's like, no, that thing definitely follows you, I think. Yeah. Not too strong on it, but I do think maybe a little bit.
I'd say because I'm in the circle of I'll believe it until I see it actually happen, because I actually want proof, and I sorta got that a few years ago. I used to work at FedEx, and I would work on Saturdays. So the one time I came back from work, my mom and sister, because it was a morning shift, so I would come back home like around 10 or 11 in the morning. And my mom and sister were leaving to the store to get something, so I was pretty much by myself with my dogs, and with my mom's dog too. So you know the whole thing, how if a dog hears like somebody knocking on the door or approaching the door, they would like bark or get ready to bark and stuff like that. I got back out of the shower. I was gonna get ready to change when the back of my door to the outside was shaking like crazy. Not like The Exorcist, where like it could easily be ripped out, but the doorknob was going crazy. And I looked at my dogs. They didn't do anything. They just looked at me like if I was crazy, like I was expecting them to bark. But it continued for a few minutes. That the top lock was slowly opening, but for some reason they couldn't get the bottom one to open or to unlock, and it continued to shake for a few more minutes. It stops. I head to the door to listen to like maybe to hear footsteps running, or if somebody would jump over the fence. I heard nothing. I even went to my living room to where my mom's dog was at. He wasn't barking or sensing anybody. And that's like literally my only I could be wrong. Like it could just be some stranger trying to break in.
Well, I'm gonna assume your dogs are very like, but if it's more like if someone actually does show up, you actually know someone has shown up because they'll bark kind of thing. Yeah, so yeah, it could, yeah, it's definitely weird. It's like, okay. I also, I don't know, I think sometimes with animals, I think it can be a case where like, I think animals can be switched on and not switched on with that sort of thing though. So it's like, I think, you know, like they could also be equally like confused and looking at you like, what? But like you said, not actually, yeah, that's weird, like not noticing like if actually someone's at the front, because they would normally. Yeah, no, that's definitely weird.
And
Freaky.
and I know it's like I know I'm not making things up because after I changed and I went to go check, because I didn't open the door like all the way, like I slowly opened it just in case if whatever it was outside it was still there. Nobody was there, but I could see like literally on the knob and on the lock it had a ton of scratches, like somebody was forcefully trying to scratch it open.
Oh no.
Yep. So that's why I think like something definitely was happening around there, because then I even told my mom the whole thing. Like I told her like word for word what had happened, but they didn't believe me.
Yeah.
And another thing that sort of happened in my house, I was at work at the time, and my sister swears to this day that she said that she was in the kitchen making food with my younger sister, and she said that she could sense me in my room, like either sleeping or just on the floor doing something. But when she opened the door, I wasn't there. It was empty. I was still at work the whole time.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think. Yeah, I mean, I've had a couple of those times, but I think the mind can be a powerful thing because it's like you can think something. So like that one's definitely like for me personally. I don't know like if that was like a sign of like that's what I meant by being oblivious to it. Because I don't know if that actually was me being like a sign of a ghost or like just me being like in my head. Because I think I've had like maybe not a lot, but I've had like maybe 1 or 2 times where I have mistaken like thinking my sister or my mom is snuck up behind me or someone's behind me.
Right.
And then I'll be like, and then, like in that happy-go-lucky, I'm just like, oh gosh, what are you doing? And turn around, no one's there, and you're like, oh, okay. But, see what I mean? But I would just continue on because I'm like, okay, that was weird. I could have sworn I thought they were behind me, but okay. And, like you move on, and that's what I meant by me being very oblivious. Because usually I'm pretty on the money though, because I'm like, I think there's someone behind me, and they're usually behind me, and I'm like, ah.
Because like, have you ever had that feeling of somebody watching you whenever you went out in public and stuff like that?
I think for that, it's really interesting to me because my mom has always been the more switched on one, where she's way more like, yeah, like this is like a presence or not like in that sense, but I mean like even with like people or something like that, like what you're saying, like even like, oh, I feel like someone's watching, or like, you know, or she's also someone who's very like how to explain, this has always been fun growing up with her, but like she's always been the type of mom where I kid you not, I could give her a picture of someone she's never met and she could tell me exactly who they are and what they're like.
Whoa.
And to prove that to myself that she wasn't making stuff up, I would even do ones that I knew and she wouldn't know. So like in school, there was some kids that like for example, she had never met because either I don't leave school with them, or you know, it's like one of those friends like where you just strictly hang out at school and then they go a different way going home, you know, like so like my mom wouldn't have never really met them. But I know them, so then I would be like, okay, mom, what do you think of this person? And then she like no shot would just immediately get them or understand or know how they're like. And I'm like, how do you do that? Like she just has like this knack. And she's also been like she's also an animal person, and she's the same way with animals. Like she knows how, she just can tell like how their demeanor is, or like what they're feeling, I guess. Like she just pays attention to such minute like details, like even at the store. I think like a couple days ago, I think she made like a funny comment that she saw this lady walk up to the other lady being like, "Oh my god, blah blah blah, how have you been?" kind of thing, and then she was laughing to herself because she was like, "Oh no, that lady looked like she was like shocked, but then also like, oh god," like
Oh.
like one of those things where like a friend randomly shows up and you have that look on your face of like, "Oh my god, hi," but you're on the inside you're like, "Oh god." But like, see, I'm not someone who can tell that. I think I'm very oblivious in even that side of things, unless it's very obvious things. But she's just been very, yeah, like she's very just understands even like small details, even with like, I don't know, like you could like act happy but then be sad, and she could tell that. Like she could tell that you're like faking it, or you know, like that kind of thing. Like, she's been very like that.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
It is! No, dude, like, growing up has been so fun because every time I'm always like, I wonder what this person's like. I'm like, let's see what my mum thinks. And sometimes she'll have really big reactions and be like, oh, no, stay the hell away from that person. Like,
oh,
dude,
God.
Yeah, like, it's been really interesting because, yeah, it's like she'll be like, no, stay, there's something I don't feel, that feels like uncomfortable, do not. And I'm like, okay, good, I won't. Or she'll just be like, oh gosh, they're quite the troublemaker, they must get up to a lot of stuff. Or like, or even just like, oh, they seem sweet, they seem a bit good and confident and like pipped, and I like them, they seem, I get so many different reactions to it. I think it's also just fun just to do that with her. It's just always like, because if I don't know, then I could just go to my mom and be like, hey, what do you think of this person?
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
No, it's really cool.
It pretty much helps you.
I wish I had it. I wish I had it. Then maybe I would know people more.
I mean, it could be a good way to help you learn some things. Like if let's say some new person pops up in your life and you sort of know them, but it's best to have your mom like give you, I guess, the 411 on whether or not, if it's still good to like continue to talk to this person, or just to like cut them off like immediately.
Yeah, sometimes I've done that because I'm just like, you know, why not kind of thing, or like that kind of, yeah, I think it's good in different senses, kind of thing like that. It's just like, sometimes it can just be fun to see if she actually gets it right, and then sometimes it can just actually be like I'm genuinely like, oh, I wonder like what else about them that she can see that I'm not seeing, because I have had people like that where like, I think that's what I meant, but like I think I have her ability, but it's only to like a very short level of like, oh, like because a lot of the time I don't have a lot of like, oh, this person makes me uncomfortable, I don't know why, but this person makes me uncomfortable, even without speaking to them or knowing them. Like I've had that maybe like once or twice here and there, but it's like that's a very rare occurrence too. So that's what I meant, but like I feel like I have it a little, but it's just definitely not as crazy as hers though, because I could not, like, if you show me a picture I'd probably get it wrong. I think for me it's more like I actually have to speak to the person and get to know them, and then I can maybe have my say. But even sometimes without knowing the person and hearing them and stuff, I could be like, oh, I can like see a little bit or something, I don't know, but like it's just, yeah, my mom's definitely way better. Way better, always pretty on the money, so I'd rather go to her than me make her like a mistake or something, and she's like, oh no, they're like this, and I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah.
So along with the whole mystery stuff, have you ever heard any, I guess, mysterious things happening in Australia, or like any cryptids and stuff like that, or is it just like stories that you won't really believe?
I think, funny enough, me personally, I think like what you might have gotten from like me saying like the Ouija board stuff, I think like I'm someone who usually tries to stay away from anything weird, because it's like, again, of like a don't mess with me, I won't mess with you type of thing. So the only reason that I might know of a story or something like that is probably because it's online, or just any media outlet, I guess, telling me, because otherwise I probably won't know. Well, I know there's people who just know that stuff because I think maybe they're interested in that stuff, or like even like people who do like the whole like check out haunted houses or spooky places and do like EMF reading type stuff, and but I don't know. Again, I think even with that stuff, I've said to myself, I'm like, I think it'd be interesting, like what you were saying, like to actually prove a little to yourself, like, oh yeah, this is actually real. But at the same time, I'm still like to that level of like, but why would I even consider stepping foot on like, you know, like even like the worst ones, like Indian burial ground type stuff, or like even just like the worst case ones where they're like, oh, people have just constantly died here, or like, you know, it's like, I just don't think that's a good idea. I just feel like you're bringing that back home.
Right.
Because I mean, I've watched people like that, and they sometimes even say that they're like, "Oh crap, I brought something home," and it's like,
oh god.
Yeah, it's like, no, I don't want to mess with that. I'm good. So unfortunately, I don't know too much.
So I don't know when it happened, but I think it was with Markiplier when I saw him play.
I love him, by the way.
I think he got me into it, but when he played the SCP Foundation Containment Breach game, I slowly fell into that rabbit hole of like weird, creepy stuff, and then later on it started growing into like podcasts about like unexplained things or
stories and stuff. Yeah.
So when I asked you about doing an interview, one story that I remembered, that this happened like way long ago, so I don't think you've ever heard about it, but it's called, well, the person is the Somerton Man. There's not much detail about the person because the story goes is some couple or a few people have seen him at a beach just sitting down.
Is this a SCP story or like
an actual story?
Okay. Ooh, Go on.
So a couple of people at the beach area saw this person just sitting on the floor. Like you would usually with people at beaches, you would just see them like in trunks or bikinis and stuff like that. This guy was literally wearing a tuxedo, like a suit. He had a suitcase with him. This happened in December 1st, 1948, in South Australia.
Really? Okay.
So there's not much information of what had happened because I want to say the next day, I want to say the same people saw the guy, but he was more so laying on the floor, like he passed away. And there's a lot of mysteries around the guy because I think they couldn't find any poison or any clues of what caused the death, because I guess the guy just randomly just died on the spot. And what's more mysterious is the guy has like a ton of random stuff, like notes and like some hidden pockets that he had in the suit, or usually with clothing they would have like the tag of the brand and stuff like that, but it seemed like he ripped it out or scratched it or stuff like that. And again, some people believe he's either like a secret agent that got caught and then was killed on the spot, or aliens and stuff like that, or it was just some random person that just randomly died. But what's more mysterious is the guy had a book that seemed to be attached to a lady who used to be a nurse at I think it was the first world war or the second one. But what's also crazy is that she says that she's talked to this person that she gave a book to, and I want to say it had like exact details of, I want to say, a signature or a note that she left in the book. And the person that they found, I guess the Somerton man, also had that book with the exact same handwriting and exact same detail on it. But she has no clue who the guy was until I guess she saw him, because since the guy was already dead, they had to, like, I guess, make a bust out of his face, so people who haven't seen the actual person can actually look at the bust to see if they recognize who it is. And it seemed like she recognized the person, because the second she looked at it, she was in disbelief, as if like she knew the person and just found out that he died or something along the lines of that. But the person, from what we could tell, had different names. Carl Charles Webb. And another thing is, a woman says that it's her son who mysteriously disappeared, or I'm probably butchering all this, but I'm trying to remember this as best as I can.
Yeah, you're okay.
But she says that he was around, because the thing is, she tells like a crazy story. She said that at age 19 he left home, joined the army, but then started getting letters and then phone calls from a random guy saying, "Oh, your son saved me in this fight, but during that fight he lost some fingers, so he couldn't write, even though she got a handwritten letter from him saying, 'Oh, you're gonna get a call from this person that I saved, but don't worry, I'm okay, even though I lost some fingers,' and stuff like that." It's crazy from what it's being told, because again, she believes it's her son that died, but the person doesn't have like ID. He doesn't have any I guess they don't have any blood samples or DNA to match who that person is. So it's literally just a mysterious guy that just died on the beach.
That's weird, huh? It's like, it raises an eyebrow, it raises questions. It's like, how, especially in this day and age, it's like how well, actually you did say it was back in
48.
48. Okay. I feel like it's like it's weird, huh?
Because again, like it's crazy, because you would think, especially now with this, we would have.
Yeah, I think I was thinking nowadays, like you would have a bit more, but back then I guess you wouldn't have as much, and it's just strange.
But I could be wrong, but I think they still have the bust of what he looks like in a museum or in police custody, I want to say, but I'm not really too sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I'm way into like mysterious and unsolved mysteries and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think for me, like the thing that I actually find enough enjoy is like I do actually like watching case investigation stuff. I do like that stuff in my own time, especially with my family. It's funny though, cause it's like what's it? It's like those things like when you watch it, cause like I said, I feel like I'm like 50-50 where it's like, oh, you know, it could all just be especially depending on who you watch, it's like, oh, it could all be exaggerated, or like, maybe they haven't actually experienced and they're just bullcrapping about it, or things like that. Or it is, you know, actually real and stuff. And like, oh god, but I think that's why, like, watching it, I can get a little scared, like, especially like when we watch it at night and then I get to bed and I'm paranoid. I'm like, oh god, something's behind me in the dark. But like, but I'm usually like, I'm fine, this house is fine, it's not haunted, we're okay. But I do, even though I have that happen, I get like, yeah, like in my head I'm like, oh god, there are ghosts. Watching it is like fun. It's like, oh, like, especially when creepy stuff happens. Like, oh my god.
I've never had a nightmare as a kid, well, as an adult, but I think the one time I did have a nightmare, was a creepypasta of Godzilla SNES, Super Nintendo game of it.
What?
And the dumb thing that I did was I watched it late at night.
Oh yeah.
So from what I remember, because this was 2 or 3 years ago, but from what I remember, it's the old this video game cartridge is haunted, and if you play it, something's gonna happen and stuff like that.
That stuff, yeah.
And I want to say there's also a fan game of it. I could be wrong, but
It's like some Ring stuff, like watch this VHS tape and you'll die in 3 days or something, 7 days or whatever it is.
Pretty much, but the video is almost 2 hours long, I want to say, but yeah, I watched it like back to back, each again late at night, but after I finished it, I literally woke up that night in a sweat because of the whole thing. That I actually drew what I saw in my nightmare.
Oh, strange.
So, have you seen Shin Godzilla or any of the Godzilla movies?
I've seen a couple, but I think I just know the basic Godzilla.
So yeah, so pretty much the only detail I can remember specifically was, I want to say I was being chased by Godzilla, and the clear only picture in my memory was the city all in the flame and destroyed and stuff like that, and like literally having Godzilla like literally stare at me, specifically me, and then that's when I just woke up like sweating, and that was it. Cause the whole with Slender Man and Jeff the Killer and stuff like that, I've been scared about those for a short period of time. It's just that with that one specifically, I guess it really got to me.
Yeah, I think for me, like thinking of like nightmares, I think for me personally, it's like I think I always have this problem of I have the dreams and then I forget. Even with nightmares, like sometimes maybe like some might linger like a day or two or something. I'm like, damn, like that one was pretty bad. But then again, like I move on and then I have completely forgotten about it. But for some reason, there's this one particular dream that has stuck with me since like I was pretty young. Like I want to say like 10 or 8 or somewhere around there, maybe even 12, somewhere. I just had this one dream, like this one nightmare, and it's just stuck with me. It was like the best way I can describe what it was like it felt also pretty real because what my nightmare was about was actually in the house that I was living at the time. So I like in the dream I was in my house, and what it was, and it was so weird. It was like because we had like the old blinds where like, you know, like they twist to open and close.
Yeah,
like the ones long ways, down ways. I think when you open them and they have like the typical blind but down way ones. So we had like that kind of blinds around the house and stuff, and it was essentially this. The best way to describe it would be like this. I don't want to say, because I know I'll say this and you might think like the bright colored kind of thing, but it was definitely like on a creep factor, not like so mascotty, like actually kind of real. It was like almost like a Chinese dragon, but the thing about it was massive, like as massive as like the eye was as big as our window. And I had, yeah, so my dream was I woke up at night, in the middle of the night, and we had this like just giant dragon just like searching around the house through the windows. And so I, in my dream, was like quickly like doing everything in my power to be like, oh my god, my family and stuff, and like protect them. So like what I would do was I would because obviously the dragon quote unquote was looking through the windows and stuff. I was like, oh, let me like cover them with blankets so they can't see like their heads, because their heads would obviously peek out through the blankets and maybe he might see them and then like something bad happens or something. So I think in my dream I was like, oh, that makes sense, to like cover them, you know, hide them under the blanket. And that was like, I did that for my siblings, and then the last ones I went to with my parents, just because of convenience of where I was sleeping, because I was sharing a room with one of them, and the other one was like the next door, and then it was parents. Like no particular order or anything, but like yeah, so I did that with my siblings. Then the last one was parents, and I actually jumped into the bed because he was just going window to window kind of thing, like around. And yeah, I went to my parents' one, and then I just flung the blanket over us, and then I think at the time it felt like such a long dream because it was so suspenseful, because you're like, oh my god, like we might die kind of thing. But like telling the story, it's such a short one, and then like to this day I've never forgotten about it, and I'll never understand what it meant, because what the hell. So yeah,
I kind of had that one with, because I don't know, are you a fan of like Jurassic Park or dinosaurs and stuff like that?
Funny enough, my younger sister, she loves dinosaurs. She loves them.
But it's close to what you had, but I had with the T-Rex, and and it was only me, like anybody in the house.
My dogs.
You're good. You're good. It was just literally by myself, like nobody in my family or nobody in the neighborhood was around. Like it was only going after me. That I hid under the bed, and it literally broke through the roof, pretty much looking for me.
Yeah.
And I remember, I don't know how that happened, but I remember my dad grew up to the same size as the T-Rex, started fighting it off, and then I woke up, and that was it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've definitely had even dreams where it's like, yeah, like those kinds of like quirky ones where it's just like a bunch of just random stuff. Like it never has like a point. It just has like it's always constantly changing. It's always something different. There's something else trying to scare you. And then I've had one where, or like a couple ones where it's like those ones where like it jumps you awake kind of ones. Because either like it does like a stupid like falling, and then you wake up because kind of thing, like which I've never actually woken up like that, like the whole like heavy breathing and stuff like that. But I think I've definitely woken up like, it's just like that body jolt one.
Right.
And then maybe sweating just because it's like hot or something. But yeah, like over sweating in the bed kind of thing. Overheating, I mean, sorry. Yeah, they're crazy. Weird. Yeah.
So while I was looking or doing my research on you, I came across that you said that you wanted to speak Japanese, or that you spoke some of it. Like, is that like a class is that something you want to learn more, or is it just like sort of a I guess you could say a hobby that you want to do?
Well, it's quite funny because I do like Japanese. I do think it's fun. And I also do just like Japan, the culture and stuff like that. I mean, I know in saying that, like, I mean, you know, like history-wise, like there can be quite like scary things or like, you know, but that's with everywhere, you know, like everywhere has like it's scary like back in the day type of things, you know, like so there can be things that like I think some people could be like scared about with Japan or something like that. But like I think the key things that I like though with Japan is just like I do like the respect. Like I do like the respect. I just like the culture in itself. It's just very like nice and friendly and oh, and like clean as well. They're very considerate on that. Like they take like trash very seriously and like organize even that and stuff like that. But yeah, it's funny because I've done Japanese throughout all of my schooling, like primary school to high school. I think I technically started, I want to say year 7 maybe, up to like year 12 of like Japanese. And I did it because I liked it and I thought it was just fun, and just a genuine interest. But the thing about it is that like I've been told a couple of times like with my parents and everything like, oh, like whatever happened to that, because like you could have become like maybe like a Japanese teacher or vice versa, like go to Japan and then teach English and vice versa and stuff. But it's like I think I was always at the level of very basic. For some reason, even though doing all those years, I think I always somehow stuck with just the basics somehow. And so I would always have, you know, like maybe 1 or 2 people that like actually became very fluent or they're very good at it. And so like to my like brain, I was like, well, why the hell would I be a Japanese teacher if I'm like just baby basics and stuff? But I think I do know though that like technically speaking, like being a teacher and stuff, like I think it can be like a case of like you can just prepare yourself and then like teach it kind of thing. So it's not like oh, I have to know not everything's on the spot, but at the same time I know that like even when I you know doing Japanese, I would have so many questions and ask my teacher, and it's like, well, obviously you would hope your teacher knows those answers, you know. So like I think for me, I was like, oh gosh, like if I only have just baby basic knowledge, I don't want to like try to teach kids the best of my ability with like pre-made stuff that I like prepped for them for the year or something, and then them ask me questions and I'm like, oh. So I think it's now just become a bit more like like you said, hobby. And I mean, it's kind of a little sad, but like I think after, you know, like leaving school, I think I haven't been able to use it as much as I would like to. So I think it has dwindled a little bit because I'm not. I think that can happen with people, like especially if you're not like, you know, speaking the language for like a while, you can like learn to forget it.
Right.
I mean, it happened with my mom. Like my mom is actually Swedish. So that's like the family of hers is Swedish, and you know, like obviously she grew up like young, you know, speaking Swedish, and then she had to like learn English. But then now, you know, she's been here for years now, and like now it's just a case of like she's more on the level of she definitely speaks English. We sometimes make a joke like Swinglish. Sometimes she'll like sometimes mess up words really badly, and we'll be like, what the heck are you saying? And then just be like a joke like, oh sweet, it's the Swinglish. But she's at that level now with Swedish that she thinks that it's more like she can listen to it and understand it, but like and I think she can speak it. I think it's just like sometimes she'll forget certain words or like, cause yeah, again, she doesn't like use it as often as she, you know, used to back in Sweden when she was younger. And even like my grandma on like her side, like mostly for the most part speaks English as well. So it's like, it's just that kind of case of like, well, they don't really use it much, so she's kind of like forgetting certain things, or she might definitely forget like words you don't normally use in general like basic sentences and stuff. Like I think even yesterday or something I was talking to my friend Alex, who actually funny enough is also Swedish. I think we're on the topic of, this is a little funny off the topic thing, but you know the shark from IKEA that people love? It's like this plushie, and people call it blahaj. It's just like the shark plushie that people love from IKEA, and they call it blahaj. But it was really funny because my friend Alan was like having a bit of a tizzy. Well, not actual tizzy, but like he was just jokingly being like, "It's so annoying because people call it blahaj, but it's actually like."
I know what you mean now.
Bloha, or something like you actually pronounce it bloha, something like that. And I was just like laughing because I was just like, "Oh my god, I didn't even know that." And then my mom came in and said like a couple of Swedish things because she knows he's Swedish, so sometimes she likes to like test herself, like just for fun. But even I said that word to her, and she was like, "What are you saying?" so I was like going like bloha, like I was hoping like I was actually saying it right. Which he was on the call and he was like, "Yeah, you're saying it right," but she was getting confused, and I was like, "Why aren't you understanding?" And she was like, "Oh, it's because," then I told her and she's like, "Oh, shark, it means shark." But that's my point. Like, when are you gonna use shark in a sentence? You know what I mean? Like, you're not really gonna be like, "Hey, you seen that shark today?" So that's what I meant by like, I think she mainly knows like most words in, you know, actual generally like speaking sentences and not just like random words here and there she might forget. But yeah. So
your mom is Swedish. Does that mean that your dad is Australian?
So it's really funny because my mom is, that whole side is Swedish. And my dad's side, funny enough, is actually Mauritian, which is an islander from like a tiny island near Madagascar. And like it's a really tiny island called Mauritius. And it's funny because then that's why I also make jokes that like I make jokes like, "Oh, I'm a failed Australian," because technically, you know, bloodline wise or like, you know, like heritage wise growing up, it was never like it's not like I grew up with full-blooded Australians or anything. So, you know, being born here, it's like I only know Australian things because I learnt things being here like all my life. But like there could be times sometimes still even that people would be like, "Oh, what does this mean, 10?" And I'm like, what is that? I've never heard that in my life. And it's like what a full-blooded Australian like person would know, and they're like, "Oh, it means this," and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't even know that." So it's like that case thing again where it's like I only know stuff that I've learned through the years of being here, but there's definitely things that I don't even know about because maybe someone's never brought it up to me before. Or but technically speaking as well, my dad is just like me, like Australian, because what ended up happening was my grandma was pregnant with him and then came to Australia, and then he was born here. So I think he's also kind of that level of me where like he's born here, so he only knows stuff like. So he's definitely, if I had to choose like both of them, which one's more Australian, my dad would be, because obviously, like I said, he was actually born here and raised here. Whereas my mom was actually born in Sweden and then moved a couple times and then actually came to Australia to live and stay. But yeah, but even then, I think my dad's still a bit more knowledge in like, because they speak Creole French. So he knows a bit more than I would as well, and it's just like, yeah, but like even me though, like growing up, it's like I think I was brought up kind of like I didn't actually get to learn too much of the language or like more about like that stuff. It was just like I definitely was like Cause come on, wouldn't it have been so cool if I was actually taught at a young age Swedish, French Creole, and English, and then on the fun hobby side Japanese? Like, come on, how freaking cool would that have been? But no, I didn't get that opportunity because I guess my parents just didn't, I guess, think or feel the need to, because well, English is just English. So.
Right.
But it's just like there's certain words here and there that I've learned that I know are definitely different from other people, because like, you know, like on my mom's side for grandma we say mumu, which is it's technically I think said mur or something like that, but we say mumu because it's like a bit of like that Aussie slang with it.
Right.
And then I think on my dad's side, you know, instead of saying, like, for both sides, grandma or anything, it's, that side's also, gomère. Gomère and mumu, so, like, you know, like, we can still say grandma, but, like, that's usually what we would say, and that's, like, slight little differences there, like, in culture and stuff.
So they're pretty much like the natural thing you would say instead, for, like...
Yeah, that's definitely what we would say. Yeah, definitely. That's definitely what we would go too fast. But like even like in conversation like right now, like if I was talking about them, I would say like grandma.
Okay.
Grandma kind of thing. But it's like I think like actually being with them or with that family, I'm like gomère, mumu, you know, like things like that. But yeah.
I'd say the other question. Well, I still have like a few more, but another question I would say is, well, first, like, how long have you been doing VTubing?
I think funny enough, I've been streaming. From my knowledge, I think I actually hit technically 5 years at the end of this year. Yeah, so it's been like a hot minute, but I would like to say a majority of that was VTubing. Because I, from memory anyway, I don't think the whole like no webcam thing lasted very long. Because like I said, I think it was funny enough around the time when VTubing just randomly showed up one day. Because yeah, like at first I was inspired to be more like a faceless YouTuber, and then that blew up, and then I was like, oh, there's more options for faceless stuff. And then yeah, so I guess that's when then I tried the live 2D, didn't work out, then I went 3D, and then that was a big majority as well. And then I've only, I think this last couple like year or two now had the live 2D, I think. So yeah.
So then I guess is there a lot of anything that you want to achieve during your VTubing journey?
Yeah, achiever on my journey. I think my biggest thing with my whole streaming and my journey so far was that I think I liked the idea of people just like kind of just showing up. If I think how do I explain this? It's like, you know, like I think I know that, you know, people will have rough days or, you know, things like that, and I think I like the idea of like my streaming being a thing of like you don't have to worry about that stuff. You can just come over and we can just be silly, hee goofy, and not worry about that sort of stuff. Because it's not like, you know, I'm your like whoever like is bothering you, like maybe your mom, grandma, friend, or anything being like me at you. It's like instead of that, it's, you know, you come to my stream and I'm just being a goober and messing around and stuff like that. And I think that's where I've had a bit of a confusion with myself, where like I then felt like it would be wrong to open up about stuff. So I it kind of like became this thing of like, oh, when things would happen with my life, I would just kind of like keep that a lot to myself, which I think that is a funny point, because I think there can be people in the online space who just mean, to be honest, I think they share a little too much.
Oh yeah.
I think there can be people who definitely share a lot too much because I think that, like, I know that people can have a big fan base and, you know, like, maybe they stop streaming a couple days and, you know, they're worried. They're like, where'd you go? Like, are you okay?
Right.
So I feel like I can get to a certain level where, like, I understand that level of concern for your fan base and stuff like that, being like, oh my gosh, are you okay, kind of thing. But I mean, I don't know. I've come across a couple things online where, like, people say like a lot of tough things, and it's like, I mean, don't lie, I didn't think you had to. Like, I don't think it's kind of like I don't think you have to explain yourself kind of situation. Like, cause I just feel like sometimes I think it's never really wrong to just kind of I like, don't get me wrong though, I know that some people just feel comfortable being open, and that's fine. I do think that sometimes though people might feel like they have to though.
Right.
Because I think I mean, maybe you've come across that sometimes where, like, let's say like bigger VTubers, they might be gone and no one's telling them anything, or maybe even drama or something that's happened, and it won't be left alone until it's answered, type of thing.
Right.
Because people so badly claw at it, and they're like, give us answers, you know. And that's what I meant by, like, I think some people might feel
Entitled.
a little pressured, and and like feel forced to just like have to say something on it. When I think that I think it always depends, because I think there's sometimes even silly things where people are just like coming up with absolute nonsense, and you have to be like, no.
Yeah.
That's not the case. Like, what the hell? No.
Yeah, because it tends
it
tends to get crazy every now and then. Whenever if someone just disappears for a day or two, or maybe even a week, that immediately people will speculate, this person must be graduating or must be sick or something like that, because with the VTuber community, I know that there has been times where some people will speculate if someone stopped streaming for a bit because something must have happened, that the reason that they're not streaming is because they're going to be graduating or stuff like that. Because I think with Gura, she had a moment where she stopped streaming for a few months, I want to say.
Yeah.
And then that's when people started speculating that she must be graduating, because why would she be gone for a few months? But then I think she came back saying that she felt a bit, I could be wrong, I think she felt a bit burnt out.
Yeah, I'm not too knowledgeable in it, but I do remember like everyone being like, where's Gura?
And or to the point where I don't like bringing them up, but with Niji Sanji, with some of their issues, especially with this year, with some of the controversies where if somebody doesn't say anything, boom, there's a lot of controversy or a lot of speculation that it just gets crazy, because unless that person doesn't say anything, someone's gonna bring up or probably make something up that the fan base is gonna believe. But
yeah, I mean, I think that also comes into like I guess how big you are as a streamer as well, because I know that like if you know like you're a bit of a smaller streamer, like, no, don't get me wrong, you'll still have people who care about you and worry that way you are and stuff like that, but I think it's because, you know, you do have a smaller community that it's not such a big hoopla like Niji Sanji like type of thing, like where they have a big fan base, and like because there's so many of them, like they honestly could just riot if they wanted to, and be like in demand, like, oh, where are they, blah blah blah, you know, and just make this giant thing. But I mean, I guess it is kind of that is also an interesting topic where I do think it can be interesting where I do notice this a lot, and it's so strange to me that like you can have like bigger streamers and they will have pretty loud voices because a lot of people will listen to what they have to say or their opinions and stuff like that, and they have a big influence. But I also think that sometimes there can be times where like smaller streamers don't feel like they have that, and that's where I think like some people maybe are afraid to say things because you know like because they're smaller and stuff, and you know there's people who are bigger than them, and you know like even that kind of stuff, you know, or even just the factor of like, oh, no one cares.
Right.
Like, oh, no one really cares, and then you know you have like bigger streamers who maybe, I mean, they, like for example, they could literally make a tweet and be like, I don't know, maybe like a quote-unquote based tweet where they're like, oh, I think green apples are better, and then everyone's like, yeah, we agree, you're so right, that's so based, oh my god, you're so correct.
Right.
You know, and then like a smaller streamer might be like, I like green apples, and they're like, shut up. Like, who are you? I don't know who you are, sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, that
So
is
I
crazy
think
as
that's
it
like a funny
sounds
little
true.
topic. No, yeah, I like, cause I think I've had that recently, learning about that, cause I mean, going back to what I was saying, how like, you know, cause me personally, like I said, I don't normally talk about my personal stuff, even if it's a big one. I mean, you know, and again, it depends on people if they want to share that or not, but like I said, at the same time, I don't feel like you have to explain yourself, cause like, you know, like I've seen people say things like along like same situations as me, like, you know, like I have had a family member pass before, and you know when it happened, I didn't feel the need to make this giant tweet and be like, hey guys, I'm going through this hiatus, you know, like I didn't feel the need to do that. I just said, I was like, I'm just going through some stuff, I just need like a bit of a break or something. I think that's what I meant, but I think it always depends, because like I said, like I think some people are actually genuine and some people just kind of like, again, I think they just say too much, and it's like I don't think you need to like over explain yourself. Just you can just easily just say, I need a break, I'll BRB.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'd say, is there a game that you've ever rage quit or just, was too difficult for you to even finish?
Oh yeah. That's a good question. I think funny enough, like the way that I am, I say it a lot on my streams, I'm never like a god gamer or anything. I might have my moments here and there, but even then it's just like very like average gameplay. I'm just like, I mean, it's good enough. So I might have cases of like playing games where I might get like a little annoyed because I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Cause I think, I don't know, I think it's funny to say that to my chat, because some of them, I mean, some of them, it depends, because some of them just go like, L, bozo, rip. Like, and then some of them just go like, well, Tan, that ruins the charm if it's all just laid out for you. You gotta figure out on your own. I'm like, I mean, I guess, but I'm stupid and I like them to tell me what I gotta do. Because then I'm spending like maybe hours just trying to figure out this one thing, and I'm like, God, screw this, and I just look it up.
Oh yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to do? What's a game that I've raged with? I mean, funny enough though on that, I think there definitely has been games that like maybe I haven't been that good at, and so I don't continue them because I know that I can't either progress any further or like do much else with them. So I guess in a sense that's like rage quitting a little. It's like I I mean, I think I can think of one, like, for an example. So, I actually liked Elden Ring.
Oh.
I did like Elden Ring, and I actually do want to keep playing that. I just do think that at the level of, like, gaming that I'm at, especially the goal that I was trying to do, I was trying to do a goal of killing absolutely every single thing.
Right.
So, I got pretty far, though. Like, I think I cleared the very first area. I think what was the other areas? I cleared all of the bottom area. I'm forgetting all the names, but I figured out, like, I killed all the bosses in that area basically. But then I think the ones I was still working on was like the castle area one above and the Crimson area. But because I know those ones are a bit more difficult. Especially because I'm a mage in it, so that's why I think, especially the like the magic school.
Right.
I
know
get
the
my
thing.
ass kicked in that because I'm also a mage, so it's like, holy, I was getting my booty kicked so bad in that area, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm just getting my ass kicked so bad, and that was also the same with that area because some of the bosses were actually glintstone ones, and then same problem. I was like, I'm a mage too. What do I do? And then Crimson just, oh my god, we don't talk about Crimson area. That area. Ooh boy. So like that's what I meant by, like, I guess it's like a soft rage quit because it's like, damn, but it annoys me because I'm like, I do like the game. I actually did. That was also my first Souls game because.
Oh really?
Yeah. So I had previously tried to do like maybe one of the Dark Souls ones, but I think the problem, and that's why I didn't like those games, is because, you know, they're very straightforward. Like, you have to go one at a time. You don't get that choice. You just, to progress, you have to go one by one. And the funny thing about it, though, was like, I think I tried to fight literally the first boss, and I couldn't even beat the first boss. And I was like, well, god damn it. And I was like, well, clearly this isn't a game for me. And I just didn't play it. And then I think, yeah, Elden Ring came out, and then I was like, do you guys think I actually would like that though? Because, like, I suck at Souls games. And then they were like, well, I mean, you can run around. And I mean, they weren't wrong, and I do like the game as my first Souls game because it's definitely more friendly, like, because you can actually run away if you want to run away. And if you die, you can just run back with your your steed and just like pick up your points back up. But yeah, it gets a little annoying. So it's like, damn, I do want to finish that, but I'm like, what the heck? How the heck? What else do I do, man?
Wait, you haven't beaten it, so it's pretty much just.
No, I haven't beaten it.
Oh.
That's my point. I'm like, man, because that's what I meant by being annoyed by it. Because I liked it. I really liked it, and I got really far. Like I said, like I cleared out those areas, and then it was like, the tougher areas, I just couldn't kill absolutely everything because some of them were glintstone or Crimson is just very difficult.
I mean, it definitely, because I've beaten it already and I've played it again just to do the DLC. Oh
yeah, the DLC. And then see, I saw the DLC and I was like, so I'm not buying that. Because I was like, well, because also I'm someone who doesn't really necessarily like buying DLCs if I know I haven't even finished the base game.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
So I'm like, it wouldn't make sense for me to go and buy DLCs if I haven't even finished, like the main damn game. So I would probably like to try to finish the main game. But even seeing that DLC, I was like, yeah, if I'm struggling now, because I heard people rage quit.
Oh yeah.
I heard people like 100% were like, oh hell no, like I'm out, and then refund the game like not even that far in. And I was like, okay, clearly if there's a lot of people rage quitting, it's definitely not for me. I was like, oh boy.
Because since the DLC came out, I wanted to play it again, but I kind of got to the point where I got burnt out from the game because
I think I did too.
Like don't get me wrong, I really love the game and it's fun and everything. It's just that there's been moments where I would start up the game, but then I would leave it on pause for about an hour or two. Unpause it, run around for a bit.
It's definitely a grindy game.
Mhm.
And I think, yeah, like I get exactly what you mean. So I think that was also my problem when I did do that, like, goal for myself to try to kill everything. That also kind of burnt me out because I was like, man, I've been like playing hours of this, like just trying to kill like every damn boss. So yeah.
And at the same time, other games were coming out, so that I pretty much had to either stop playing Elden Ring for a bit to play this new game that just came out, or try to finish Elden Ring so I could play the new game. But then with the whole getting burnt out, I just paused that altogether and just started playing the other ones. But I do want to play it again at some point.
I do want to try to finish it because it just doesn't feel right. I'm like, I have to. But yeah. I think, funny enough, though, that's also why I didn't like go and get like Wukong.
I want to play that.
It was also the same thing as the DLC where I was like, I haven't even finished Elden Ring. Why would I get Wukong?
No, yeah, I've had that mindset where I want to finish a game before I get a new one, or even start a new game.
Exactly, yeah. Depending, especially like that, where it's like, I mean, they're essentially the same type of game. So like it makes it easier to be like, well, it wouldn't make sense if I, get Wukong, but I haven't even finished Elden Ring, so. So yeah.
Well, I think the only last question I got, because you pretty much answered some of them along the way throughout the whole conversation. I guess the last one would be, what kind of advice would you give somebody who's jumping into the, not just VTubing community, but streaming community as well?
Advice. I think the advice that I would give them is very much, I think this is one that a lot of people always say, and I do agree. Cause I sometimes see that happen, and it's very unfortunate because it's like, damn, okay. Because like, I think sometimes people going into it get very, because I think at the end of the day, everyone like yourself, you want a model to represent you, and like the way that you want it, but I think sometimes people can get in their head where they have to like drop $2,000 above to get that immediately, even before like the whole like debuting thing, like even before showing up and existing. Because for me, for my debut, I had already been streaming. I was for like a short period faceless, nothing, just gameplay. Then I went to like a tiny little bit of PNG, didn't really work out for me, so I was like, okay. And then went and found 3D V-Roid for myself, and I felt that worked better for me just personally. But even more so now for new people, I definitely recommend, because again, it just all has preset hair and outfits and stuff. So if you want something easy to make, the new version is definitely worth it. And then what was it? But then for me, then like after so long, then I debuted my new model. But I think I do, because look, don't get me wrong, I have come across a lot of VTubers who have been just successful from day one, from debuting, because otherwise their model's just gorgeous and like how could you not, kind of thing. But I know that there's ones that I mean, again, it depends. Either they did become successful immediately, but then they also sometimes figure out that they don't actually like streaming, and then they give up.
Right.
And then they're graduating not that long after. And that was something really interesting to me, because in, like I said, around the 5-ish years, it's interesting because even me going through my following, because I might have a bit of a problem with my following is because I've got a little overboard and like simped for like a billion bajillion people, and I'm just like, yeah, support. And so like now where I am right now, I'm like, yeah, I mean, that'd probably be a good idea to like maybe like clean it. I still need to clean it out. It's pretty bad, but like I do need to clean it out. Not in like a bad way. It's just like I think I would prefer like actual like Twitter mutuals and like because it is a bit excessive. Because I did realize something that you have to consider with Twitter is that like if you go over like a very high threshold, it's gonna be less likely that you actually see that content of everyone.
Right.
Because like for me, I think mine's an amalgamation of everything, and I actually miss a lot of stuff from even friends. Because I'm like, damn, or like mutuals, VTuber mutuals, and I'm like, damn, I miss a lot of stuff just because I'm following so many. Even just simply that. Yeah, the thing about it though that I found, even going off my point, is that when I did do like even just that little bit of cleaning out with it, so many. I didn't realize I'm following so many graduated VTubers.
Oof.
So many. And that was only recent, pretty recent, like this year. I was gonna do like the bit of the clean out. So like thinking about like however long, like I said, I've been doing 5-ish years. However long I did start to follow them to now, it is a little bit of a scary thing. It's like, geez, like. That's a lot. Like it really was. Like it was like every second one was like graduated or like indefinite hiatus or something. Which I think like it depends, because like those ones I might like leave alone, because it's like, well, they might actually come back kind of thing. But the ones for just graduated and never coming back, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a lot. And I think that's why I said that advice, is because like, I mean, it's just. I think it is cool to come in and just immediately like see that like what people go through with that immediate success and from putting in that much money and then like blowing up and stuff. But at the same time, how many of those actually do succeed to the ones that don't? Not every single one that does that succeeds. And then like I said, if it intrigues you, it's better to trial it and see if you actually genuinely enjoy it, then just immediately dropping thousands of dollars, and then finding out you don't like it, or things like that.
Right.
So then that's probably my biggest advice. And also a quick other advice would definitely be, I think this is one that I also have. I think you do. I might be a little bit of a hypocrite here because I'm still trying to figure that stuff out. It's definitely like a bit tough when it comes to the question of do you just want to pursue this as a hobby or actually full-time, part-time thing? Because throughout those years I've kind of gone back and forth a couple of times with different things. Because like I at the end of the day, I do even going back to like the other question you asked me, what do I want to achieve in my journey, like I did want to just have fun at the end of the day, but then I also, I mean, I did really love it, and I do really love it, and I do want to like keep doing it. And it feels kind of weird like thinking like next year I will have to actually look for like maybe a part-time or something like that, just to help me out financially. But it is such a weird thought to be like, because I guess I'm the type of person that really wants to just keep trying and trying and trying, and I don't like the idea of giving up. So going even back to, seeing all those graduated VTubers, which, not to say, like, some of them are definitely probably because life.
Right.
People, I mean, I knew some that even had things like, oh, we're pregnant, and then, like, then they had to graduate because, I mean, they're having a baby. Or, like, people who, I mean, even just simply are like, I don't want to pursue this. I have a bigger opportunity I'm going to go for. Even just, like, just all those different things. Or they just won't have time because of other priorities. And it's just, yeah, it will be very weird to think that, like, I won't be able to do it as much as I would like to, because I think that's what's kept me going for so long compared to others, that maybe not because of other reasons, just because maybe they just feel like, oh, they're not good enough, and they just kind of like, or like even back to that, like start out, try to blow up immediately and don't blow up unsuccessful, like they don't, and then they kind of like go never mind and graduate immediately. But yeah, for me, that's always been my driving force, is like, oh, I just want to keep trying and trying, and you know, maybe my labor will bear you know, fruit, kind of thing. Which it, for me personally, and that is what happens, is that it fluctuates. You know, sometimes I've had moments where I'm like, damn, this is going really well, and then some moments I'm like, yeah, it's not going as well. It definitely fluctuates, but like, to get at that steady pace, I know like you just have to keep going. But yeah, just that is something that I'm having to deal with, is that, you know, it kind of like that sucky feeling of like, man, like I won't be able to push as hard as I would like to when I didn't have a job, and I, you know, used this whole time trying so hard to keep it going. Yeah, just things like that. I think, because even I think that topic of like hobby or full time was even like a thing that you have to figure out, because, you know, like, I think like when you're really passionate about it and you want to do really well, that's where that full like time thing pops in, because you're like, oh, I want to do so much, I want to do so well, I want to put in so much into it, and I want to like stream every day of every week, and I like, you know, like all this stuff, and it's like, you know, you might get burnt out, or you might end up like eventually hating it or despising it because of that. Because then you're in your head and you're like, oh, I don't want to stream, I just hate it. I can't even fathom pressing that button right now. Yeah, I think it just depends on each person, because I mean, even at the minute, I think I'm trying to do, like, I've been trying to do like a half where it's like, you know, I try to stick to that schedule of 3 days a week. If I can't, I can't. I'm not really gonna boo-hoo about it, because I know that I am someone it can be tough on myself. But it's just like that, learning that it's not the end of the world at the same time though, if you can't do it. Because you do have to put yourself first, I think, is what's important, because you don't want to like absolutely burn yourself out and stress yourself out and then make yourself hate the thing you love. So yeah. Just that kind of thing, I think, is good to consider.
Yeah, because I remember, I think 2 or 3 years ago, I've had that moment where I would be posting videos almost like every day for a week.
Yeah.
And it, I guess, sort of seemed alright. It seemed like a good idea.
Yeah.
But then
exactly. Yeah.
But then like a month or two later, I kind of hit that breaking point of, I feel burnt out. Maybe posting every day was a bad idea. And then I went to posting maybe 3 times a week, and that was a little better. But then I pretty much went into a hiatus where I just stopped for almost half the year, and then just went back into doing something else.
Exactly. That's precisely like what I've gone through a couple times, because I'm like, because I think, man, I'm not even kidding. And that's what's the funny thing about throughout the years, is what's changed. Like, I think back then I really did want to try it. I think I was trying to stream like almost every day. And I think even to like going to hours, I think I was even trying to push for 8 hours. And it's crazy to me, because I think back then, definitely back then I was handling it. Like I handled it, but then I think, like, again, it's like a time thing, where like over time though, you're not going to be able to do that forever. So then eventually, slowly, like I've been changing things, like now, you know, I try to do 3 days a week. And then I change the hours to, I try to do 5. But sometimes if I just can't hit that 5, I'll maybe do a 3 or 4, and then on a really, really bad day, it's like 2 or 1, you know? But yeah, it's just, I think that is something funny to think about for myself, like, over the years, like, how it's changed. But, like, even that can be something as someone who's hard on yourself. Like, you see so many VTubers who just do that stuff constantly, so much, hours upon hours. I mean, let's bring up back Zentrea. Like, you know, like, she just does it almost every day. Lately, she's also been doing a lot of hours, grueling hours, even just for charity stuff, and then on top of it, just cause. And then you see them and you go like, how can I get that energy? Like, why can't I have some of that? Like, where are you getting that energy kind of thing? And I think that's like the things that like you do have to sit down and realize like how you truly are, and work with yourself and not against yourself, if that makes sense. Because it's like I said, even with the hours and days for me, it just wasn't working. So for me to feel better, I lessened the days, and for me to feel better, I lessened the hours, and so far I've definitely preferred it. And it's just, yeah. But even though, you know, I might sometimes sit there and be like, man, if only I had that energy to just be so like, you know, so excited 24/7 with like the people like with that big energy all the time. It's like I wish I could, but I do know that I'm someone who can fluctuate, where some days I'll be chill, some days I'll be hypergenic, some days I'll be both. But, you know, I do know that about myself, and I think, yeah, sometimes you can be a little too hard on yourself with that kind of stuff. Because you sort of do the best you can, but it's like, you also have to know yourself. So, you know, do the best you can.
Because after becoming a PNG tuber, I kind of went into the realm of going back to doing 3 videos a week, and it definitely helped because I could separate videos. Like if I want to probably have a not a long catalog, but a how do you call it? What's the word? I guess pretty much have a long video for like the week after. I would always record.
Oh, plan beforehand type thing?
Yes. I would record almost an hour or 2 for one game for that week, and then have enough for the other week. And I know it's gonna hit me sooner, but on October I decided to do a spooky month where I would record or post 5 days a week. But at the same time, I noticed that because of me doing that, I started gaining subscribers and a lot of view counts that I didn't want to stop. So I am still doing that flow of 5 days a week, but at the same time, I know I'm gonna hit that limit of I gotta stop. I'm already getting burnt out from it. But
see, that's actually a really good point. That's kind of what I was also talking about. It's just like that. It like streaming and content creation can definitely suck you into that scary loop, because it's like, you know, you want to give it your all, but then you also want to make sure you're taking care of yourself. But then you also sometimes have those fluctuations of like success where, like for me, like I've had really good moments in my life where I'm like, holy crap, this is how I want it to be like forever if I could, you know, kind of thing. And then, but then, you know, that's not the case because it fluctuates. But because you see that, you see that because you were doing the quote unquote more, you think, oh, okay, then we just keep doing that. But you can't, because you're gonna get burnt out and then tired, and then you don't do it anymore because you're tired. And then guess what happens? The fluctuate goes back down, because then people are like, where'd you go?
Yeah. And I've had...
So it's like, it's definitely like, it can be a perpetual hell.
Yes. I've even had days where, let's say, because what I'm doing now is I'm doing like 2 long Let's Plays like one Monday for Friday, Tuesday for Thursday, but sometimes I might have like one, like let's say a demo for Wednesday, but then maybe like the week after that I got nothing. What am I gonna play for Wednesday? I gotta think of something. Like I could just go back to an old game just to replace that.
Right.
But
that's actually a funny point, because there's people who you know, like VTubers with schedules. I can't do it, man. like I mean, like I have been trying to do the schedule, like the 3 days a week thing, but I'm talking like planning the week. You know, like the people who go like, oh, okay, Monday we're playing Mario, and then, you know, Wednesday we're doing a hand cam stream, and then Friday we're gonna collab and we're gonna be playing this, and it's like, and they do that for every single week. I just can't do it. I can't do it for myself, me personally, because like I know myself. It's like a thing again. I know myself, and look, I think I've tried to do that. But the thing about it, and that's where it's like that, it doesn't feel fun thing, because if I do that and I say, okay, next week, Monday I'm playing Skyrim, and Wednesday I'm playing let's just say Elden Ring, and then Friday I've got a collab and I'm playing Phasmophobia. It's like, okay, I did that, but then it's funny to me because then I'll get to that Monday finally, and then I'm like, that doesn't sound as fun anymore. And I'm like, something else sounds fun. I'm like, I could play something else.
right.
And then you know, you finally get to the Wednesday and the same thing. You're like, oh. Or like you might like even start regretting it even before the day, and you're like, I don't actually want to play that game anymore. I wish I was gonna play this instead. And it's like, and that's why I think the way that I've been going has just been like, it has been a very like however I feel, but I at least try my best on the day to actually think what I'm gonna do, or even just the day before. I'm like, okay, what am I actually doing tomorrow? Or if I know like the next day is a bit more of a casual day, and I actually will just figure out on the day, then I will. Because what I also try to do is even my live posts, I like to do like these thumbnails and showcase like what I'm doing. So like I might have a thumbnail for like Dead Space or something. So it's like that. So it's like knowing maybe on the day before, and then when I'm streaming it, then I can actually do that post kind of thing. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, just me personally, I've just had that happen to me where I can't do it. Because I just immediately get bored by my decision, even though I made that decision, and at the time it sounded really good because I was like, oh yeah, I'm craving these games, these sound good, but then on the day I'm like, I ain't feeling it no more. I'm bored. And that's where I get like that confusion of like, oh, I'm the streaming for fun, I want to do what I want to do, but then that perpetual like, oh, but you know, I should be doing what people want me to do to, you know, have more viewers and like gain more attention, because, you know, maybe I'm not playing the most expensive popular game at the moment, you know, like because that's also another thing. It's like I'm always someone who also likes to wait for sales, because I just can't afford an $80 to $100 game every damn time.
No, that sounds about right.
So I'm always late to the party. I've always been late to the party with games. Or I've been really fortunate and my community members really help me out and they buy it for me, which is really nice. Really thoughtful. And I do appreciate that, because then I'm like, oh my god, I can play it with everyone else. Because I mean, look, even I think I got gifted Helldivers, and it was funny because I think at the time that I got it, all of a sudden everyone stopped playing Helldivers, and I was like, what the heck? I was like, what, guys, what happened? I thought we were playing Helldivers, and then it's funny because now recently it's back, and then I realized my friend told me, because I didn't even know. My friend told me, they were like, oh, because there's a, I think they said, was it a new DLC or something?
I think so.
Yeah, something new of it, and I was like, that's why they're back. But see, how long is that gonna last us in this week right now? It's like crap. I have to like, I mean, even my friend Bear, she just got gifted it too, I think, for Christmas kind of thing, and it's like, oh my god, maybe we can play. Or my friend Blue also has it. I'm like, maybe we can play. And it's like, when? So yeah, my goodness, so much to think on and stuff with all that. It's just all very funny.
Like, yeah, because like for me, I would love to play the newer games, but sometimes some of the games aren't really my kind of thing. Like Helldivers,
Exactly.
it seems fun. It's not my type of game I would ever play.
Yeah.
Or with battle royale games, no. At the same time, I don't really have others to play with. Like I would love to collab with some people, but at the same time, since I record late at night, they're probably fast asleep doing something else because they have to go to work, or they have important stuff to do. That it's I just prefer to play by myself. And
yeah, I feel that because me being introverted, like I can get to those points where like I think majority of the time I'm always just streaming by myself. Like I usually do just stream myself because I'm like, because I mean like even though I would like to do more collabs and stuff like that, I think there's so many factors that go into it though. There's so much because like even simply like for myself, like, you know, someone who has just streamed on my own and play games on my own with my viewers, also someone with a brain like mine that can't focus on a billion things at a time, I do know myself, and I know that when I do go in collabs that I can get a little less chatty with viewers, because I'm focused on my friends and chatting with them. Or, you know, like even what you were saying, it's just like, you know, I'm in Australia and you have to consider time zones.
yeah.
I mean, look, I even had this one time that I thought someone was a really cool streamer and I love their design and everything, and we did reach out and I was like, oh my god, I'd love to play a game with you. And then I think they were like, I can't remember where exactly, but it was just essentially like their time zone was literally completely opposite to mine. So when I was awake, they were asleep, and when I'm asleep, they're awake. And I was like, damn it! So and that's where that mutual kind of disappeared a little, because it was like we can't do anything about that. Like because like I think it was like as bad as like I'm not gonna wake up at like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. to like play games and stream, because I also have like my family and I'm gonna wake them up and stuff. So.
Right. That's because that's why
oh my gosh.
I was a bit not hesitant, but worried that if I asked you to like before this whole interview thing, like I was kind of okay that you could answer the questions and do the recording on your own time, but when other stuff happened, the interview thing just seemed better to do. That I was trying to figure out, okay, what time is she awake to do this interview?
Yeah.
What would be the perfect day to do it and stuff like that. So like it definitely.
I mean, funny enough, I was very surprised by the time you gave me, because I was expecting, like, I'm so used to Americans giving me more like early in my morning, not as bad as that one I just said, that was a pretty bad one, but just like early morning, and then like maybe a little later, like 3 p.m. my time, but you actually gave me 5 p.m. when we started, so I was like, damn.
Oh, I didn't.
Like, well, I think technically we started 5:30 p.m., but I was just like, damn. I was like, I'm not used to this. Like, that's cool. Look, that works. Like, I mean, right now it's like 9:40 p.m. So.
And it's like 6:41 in the morning for me.
Yeah, I was like, what the? I was like.
But again, at the same time,
I'm not used to that.
At the same time, it's best to do it for the weekend for me, because I'm always up late anyway, so it doesn't really matter for me. But if it was like either during the weekdays or even on the Sunday, then yeah, that would be an issue.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. There's so much to go into collabs and stuff, and that's why I always like see people who do that 24/7. I'm like, how?
God, that seems too crazy to do, because I've only stayed up for about I want to say 10 in the morning, and then the second I went to bed, I was knocked out cold.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's just, yeah. And I think that's why I stay in the comfortable, and I'm just like, I'll just stream with myself, because it's just like, there's so many factors to factor in, and because I think funny enough, even, you know, like me saying like, oh, you know, I noticed that I don't talk with my chatters enough, I think they also notice. Because I think that's why I also notice like people don't, I think they do prefer when it's just me, because then I think they feel that it's a bit more like, it feels a bit more not like personal, but like actually like they can speak to me and I won't get distracted. So I mean I don't blame them, but it is like some funny things that I've come across anyway. Just even to factor that.
But yeah, we've been all going for almost about 4 hours now.
Oh my god, time just flew.
Yeah, because in the beginning, I was kind of thinking of doing thinking that this interview was going to be maybe about 20 or 30 minutes.
I was literally thinking half an hour too. I was like max. I was like half an hour max.
But then like again, like I said in the when I messaged you that I want to do this more as a normal conversation instead of just an awkward interview. Like I'm glad that we did this because we definitely got into a lot more things than just this question, answer, okay, on to the next question and stuff like that.
Yeah, a little more like cold cut like answers to like a bit more detail and ins and outs and stuff.
Yeah. So that's why I'm kind of glad. Like even though it is long, yeah, I agree. But I'd say it could be more.
Hopefully, it's not too painful to edit. By the way.
Oh no, it'll be fine. I think I'll just cut half of it for like one part and then cut the other part for the next.
Okay.
But yeah, like again, I'm glad that you agreed to do this for me.
I think this is my first interview actually. I was like, you know what? I was like, I've never been interviewed. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Why not?
Because I was definitely nervous because I'm like very small, so I don't really expect like other people who are a bit higher than me to like agree to do to this. So I'm like again very glad that you agreed and definitely said that you could do it like after Christmas. So
no, I'm glad that I did it. It was very much fun, and thank you for choosing me to interview.
Right.
So yeah, thank you.
And maybe again down the line we could do this again, have different topics and stuff like that. Maybe have you tell me questions instead of just me doing it for you.
True, we could do that, yeah. No, I'm down. This was really fun. Again, thank you so much.
No problem. Well, I guess the last question is, where could people find you if they want to see more of your stuff?
Oh gosh, I've never done that kind of YouTube outro before, but I'll try my best. Well, you can find me, definitely my main is Twitch, so twitch.tv/Tanix. That's basically, like, my main, where I stream. I also stream YouTube, also Rtanix, but kind of a bit more on the side, streams as well with that, with multi-streaming. But main, social media that you can reach me or, at me is Twitter and Blue Sky, which is also, Twitter is Rtanix, VT, and Blue Sky is Rtanix. So, yeah. Those are my mains, yeah.
Again, thank you again for this whole thing. It was definitely a lot of fun, and definitely fun to get to know you a bit more because, again, I only know you from Zen's Discord, and that's about it. Whenever you pop in.
Yeah, I won't even lie on topic of that. Like, I remember first going into Zen's community just to literally be like, oh, there's a movie? I was like, oh, I'm just gonna like slip and slide and sneak in and just like, what's the movie? And then I remember like hopping in the VC and then having people be like, is that 10? And I was like, what? Okay. I was literally like, I was in shock. I was like, they know who I am? I was like, what? They were very welcoming and very kind. It was just very crazy. I never expected that. I was like, wow, oh my gosh. So I always get that reaction too when I join now. I'm like, you guys are too sweet.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, like whoever pops up that we know, it's always fun to like greet them like they're how do you say it? I guess like a special guest. Like nobody expected them to
Yeah.
show up at all, so it's always fun to see you or Ravy show up into the Discord movie chat.
Yeah. I do want to join like more movie nights. I think it's just like it's always a case of like if I can kind of thing. And it kind of sucks that I can't as much as I want to, but I know that I also try to join like Zen's Patreon night. Sometimes even then it's on it falls on the Monday that I stream, so it depends. Like sometimes 50-50 I might join that as well.
Right.
So yeah.
But yeah, again, thank you, and this was definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Of course, someone's drilling something in the background. My family, say hello. My family. Oh no, but no, seriously, thank you so much as well. I can't wait to see what you do.
No, there's gonna be a lot of pressure now.
No. I'm sure it'll be good.
Thank you.
No, thank you again.
Then I'll definitely share you the link whenever I post them.
Yes, I would love that so much. Thank you. I'll definitely retweet it. Heck yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Alright, well, I guess that wraps it up then. I guess I'll also let you rest up. It's like really early.
Yeah, my sister and her kid are literally up in the kitchen right now making a lot of noises, and I was hoping they didn't make any noise to distract you.
No, I mean, even just then I was like, welcome to my family. I also have the same thing. I'm just like, yep, that's them. They're just doing something crazy in the background. Alright, but thank you so much again. I'll wait to see it, and yeah, take care.
Yeah, you too. Thank you again.
No problem, thank you. Alright, bye-bye.
So yeah, that was my whole interview I had with Tanix. She was, again, a lot of fun to talk with. I've said before, I would love to have her back again because I think we have a lot more things we had to talk. I mean, a lot more things that we never really got to talk about, or some things I kind of forgot, and then they sort of popped up like literally days or weeks after the interview. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully, more people I talk to can come in and I can interview with. I don't know who. I don't really have a plan on who. I mean, there's some people I have talked about doing this, but they have like busy schedules, so I don't want to cut in and interrupt their flow. But hopefully, whoever agrees and wants to come in, I'll be happy to talk to. Definitely have to do a lot of research before I do it because I don't want to come in blank with dumb random questions that they probably heard or are too generic that nothing pops up in the conversation. But yeah,